Hey ladies, you reached Deanna Owens here for SoNaturalOne.com. Also SoNaturalOne here on YouTube. And today I'll be discussing a question I chose from my Instagram page, which is SoNaturalOne as well. The question came from Fantastic FO. I'm going to find the question for you now. Her question was, would definitely like to hear about the business side of things. Advice for those who want to be entrepreneurs and not being afraid to ask for what you're worth. So this topic hits very close to my heart because, as you guys know, I do own my own company, So Natural Hair Boutique, and I specialize in braiding and sewing techniques. While there may be thousands or even millions of stylists out in the world, I chose to have a company that filled the voids. And what I mean by fill the voids is I would always look at what I wanted to see in a stylist, and I would take those same things and I would add on what I would have actually wanted. It's almost like when you go into a store like a Macy's or even a restaurant and you go, that would be so nice if this would happen. And instead of just saying that, you actually put it into play. Women of color in general, we are always getting our hair done. And as long as I remember going to a salon and never fully being satisfied. Like, I would always go home and I would do things differently, and I would think, man, if this would have happened, I would have been more happy. So when the opportunity came for me to actually start my own business and become a full-time stylist, I was able to incorporate everything I've learned over my life and join them in together. So I took a couple of notes because I don't want to just go off the cuff here. And I was thinking the most important part about being an entrepreneur is knowing your worth. It's so important. Know your worth. I know that with me, I came up with a price first that I would actually pay someone else. So when I first started doing hair, I was charging like $60 to $90 because at that time I didn't really know about what I was doing. I just knew I had a talent for braiding. Now for micro braids, I was charging $90. That was half the price of the salons, so the African salons, because I was thinking, well, if I get them, then they won't have to go to them. And that means that I could actually make a profit. Now over the time, I realized that 9 hours out of a day and making $90, that's $10 an hour. And all the skill that's involved and me working out of my home, it was not actually beneficial. And it wasn't something that made me jump out of my seat to go and do. I knew that it was a job, I had to do it. I worked out of my home with my 2 children and I had to make it work. As time went on, I realized that $90 was not gonna make me happier. It wasn't gonna make me happier. I learned the slip knot technique. I learned how they actually braided it. I learned about the hair that they used. I learned about how they boil the hair, how they make it straight. I learned all those things. But when at the end of the day, I was thinking, well, they're making 180 and I'm making 90. So as my skill got like on their level, I had to realize I had to give up. That's first thing. With an entrepreneur, you have to know when to let things go and when to go forward. And that's just how it all began. I know that I then went on to extensions after I realized it was a short amount of time. It allowed me to be more creative. Whatever makes you tick, that's what you can sell. That's what you're going to be very, very, very successful at. Whatever makes you go, yes, that's that winning moment. That's that thing you want to sell. And when you feel that way about your job, that stuff can easily be transferred onto your client or onto the person or onto the consumer. Once they feel that same energy, they will buy it. A great story, I went to Lush out in LA. I was with a couple of friends in LA, and there was a salesperson. And mind you, I've never been to Lush before, but they sold body lotions, they sold lip balms, they sold hand scrubs, facial scrubs. And I'm not personally into that stuff. I know that I can take care of my skin, but I'm not gonna buy $50 worth of things, like for one small thing. But the salesperson seemed so passionate about what she was selling, I bought everything. That's what's very important. When you're an entrepreneur, be able to sell what you're doing, sell it, sell it, sell it, and not sell it to where you're like, oh, I have to make the sale. But just when you have that backing to when you know that your product is amazing, it's gonna sell itself, okay? So first thing is know your worth. Second thing is, even when it comes to knowing your worth, you have to set the price first when you're starting out to where it's comfortable for the client or comfortable for the consumer, comfortable for the person who's going to be buying your product. That's first and foremost. You want to reel them in first, and then over time, as your talent and as your skill gets better, then you increase your prices. You do not go in head first. That will not only bring your business down really fast, but it will also it won't be motivating to you. So if you're not making a sale, you're not going to be motivated yourself to even crank out more things. Like people that start jewelry companies, it's very easy to start. Yeah, maybe kind of creative, but what can keep you on top of the next person? You're always looking for how you can fill that void, bridge that gap when it comes to being an entrepreneur. One thing I've really learned is that there will be several times when you will not be able to pay certain things, especially if you're doing this full time. There'll be times when you're tired, you don't want to do it anymore, you're finished, you'll have those moments, but you have to remember that if you make that your plan A, your plan B, your plan C, your plan D, everything has to work out. I know that another personal story, musicians. I have a wonderful friend named Shasha Jones. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The girl is a grinder. But do you know how hard it is for a musician to get their song from their notepad onto the radio? I watched it happen. It is extremely hard. But if you make that your plan A, your plan B, your plan C, your plan D, there's no other way that it can happen. It may not be extreme success, but as long as you know you're fully comfortable with the way you did your work and you're putting it out and you're giving your all, it's gonna work. Another case with Dawn Richard. She made it, thankfully, with starting on TV and then kind of went on, but you just gotta know to keep at it, and you gotta grind, and things are not gonna be easy, and you're gonna be frustrated. But if you take your time and you pace yourself, and you know your product, you know it inside and out, and you're filling those voids, and you know your product, but you know Joe Blow's product as well, but you know what Joe Blow can't offer when you can offer because you're offering this. So I would say have a diagram set for what you want to present to your clients. What can they get from you that they can't get anywhere else? And that's the key to success when it comes to being an entrepreneur. What can they get from you that they can't get from anyone else? And that's not even about sometimes it's not even about selling the product. It's about the way you sell the product. You get what I'm saying? It's not about selling the product, it's about the way you sell the product. Are you connecting with the audience? Sometimes it's not about actually how you do it, but when it comes to customer service, how does your customer service, how is that built into your business? All of these small key factors make up into a huge success story. And I was hoping to answer your question. Thanks for watching. Bye.